Good morning. My name is Jim Svijerico. My pronouns are he and him. I serve as your vice chair for the Board of Trustees. I'm a white male in my early 60s with gray hair, blue glasses, and today I have on a blue pants and a white shirt with some dots on it or something, I don't know. We provide this visual description to better welcome people with visual impairments and maybe anyone attending online. If this is your first time here, we encourage you to stop by the greeter stand for a visitor's gift. Everyone, you can use the QR code on the screen to access the order of service. And also, we want to know that you're here. After the service, volunteers are available to share information about our church and UU in general. Look for the Getting to Know UU sign, and whether this is your first time or you helped to raise $70,000 in 1959 to build our new church, $70,000 here in Weisheimer, please come and chat with me or another board member and learn about who we are and what we believe here at First U Year. I'd like to ask everyone to silence your phones, take a moment, and I want to draw your attention to a couple of announcements. You are all invited to help our congregation ordain Justice Minister Amanda Hayes. This will happen on Saturday, November 2nd at 2 p.m. It's going to be a family-friendly event with activities for all ages, as well as childcare. If you're available to volunteer, please reach out to Becca Morse. Our newest exhibit, Going Wild, has been installed and ready for you to enjoy. You're invited to join us for snacks and conversation here in the Worship Center during the artist reception following today's service. Also, the Anti-Racist Allies invite you to have lunch with them today at Tico Island Haitian Restaurant on Cleveland Avenue. You can gather in the lobby or carpool or check the insert for the address where to meet them. Maybe if you're planning to stay close, you can join the bread listening session after service today, which is going to be held in the library, or maybe you want to sign up for next week's session. Next Sunday is our remembrance service, and we invite you to bring a photograph or a memento of a loved one that you'd like to remember who has passed for our community remembrance altar. Last but certainly not least, join UU's music staff, Michaela Brown, Nathan Ham, and Brandon Moss for a recital on Sunday, October 27th at 2 o'clock. The concert's entitled Echoes of the Twilight, and it will feature an array of songs for the spooky season. Please see your insert to your order of worship for details about these announcements, this week's events, and so much more. We encourage you to take it home, and we ask that you leave the cover in the basket in the back because we reuse those week after week.
Who was here for the Fall Festival last night? It's fantastic. Who volunteered at the Fall Festival last night? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And most especially thank you to Candy Rothert, who was the most amazing. Very much over, beyond the work. Just amazing. Thank you so much, Candy. And so now we invite you to rise in body or in spirit to sing our opening hymn, number 361, in your gray hymnal.
Rejoice and come in. Today will be a joyful day, and to rejoice rejoice and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Dr. Teresa Cooley, and it's my privilege to serve as your developmental minister. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a medium-height woman in her early 60s with silver hair and glasses, wearing a very bright orange dress and a beige stole. We begin this service by acknowledging that we gather on land stolen from the Wyandot, Miami, Seneca, Erie, Shawnee, Delaware, and Cayuga people, many of whom were forcibly removed from Ohio. We support the Native American Indian Center of Central Ohio in their Land Back campaign, and we know that we have more to do as a community to be in solidarity and true relationship with this land and those indigenous to it. This morning, we have the great pleasure and privilege of welcoming back to the pulpit Carrie McDonald. Carrie grew up in this church, and I had the great pleasure of first meeting Carrie, how many years ago? At least 12? Something like that, when they began their work at the UUA as young adult ministry director. And the first thing that impressed me about them was how much they revered their growing up experience in this congregation. You clearly imprinted upon them a faith that was deeply meaningful. So meaningful that they've gone on to serve our movement as the vice president of the Unitarian Universalist Association. And I will say that we are so lucky to have their brilliance and commitment in that position. Welcome back, Carrie.
Good morning. I am Carrie McDonald, Executive Vice President of the Unitarian Universalist Association. I am a light-skinned, multiracial person in my late 30s, chin-length, dark curly hair. I have a bright red scarf and a plum blazer, and I use they and he pronouns. It is so good to be with you. I wanted to start with bringing greetings and gratitude from our wider association of over 1,000 congregations in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. The UUA, our national association, is the embodiment of the covenant that binds us across our congregations. We are there for one another in times of celebration and in times of struggle, and we are supported primarily through the gifts and generosity of congregations just like this one. Your contributions annually support our work in the lives of congregations you may never even know. The mission of the UUA is 3 parts: to equip our congregations for vital ministries, to support and train our leaders, both lay and professional, and to advance our values in the world. We equip our congregations with our regional staff, with our curricula and publications, with UU World magazine. We train our leaders, we credential ministers and religious educators. We conduct trainings for boards and lay leaders and youth and young adults. And we advance our values in the world through our justice and organizing campaigns like UU the Vote, and through our work on the global stage with our international partners, and through our communications and public ministry. So thank you for being a part of this great association, and it is very good to be with you today.
So let us enter into the spirit of worship with these opening words by Tanya Marquez. It is now, when we are called as witnesses of the world, to mend it, to change its course, to restore it. It is now when we are called to act on our values, not to hide, not to fear, but to be bold and loud. It is now that we are called to continue our fight for justice, to organize, to speak up. It is now. Let us gather. Let us give each other courage. Let us worship. And now, while the children meet in back to bring in the light, let us all rise in body or in spirit and greet your neighbor. It is a beautiful morning to be together. It is now time for our children to bring in the light. As we light this flame of hope, may our congregation become a kaleidoscope of souls and of people. In the presence of this flame, in me, in you, in us, is an invitation to sit at the table. May we tend our soul fire through these challenging and trying times to open the hearts and minds of all who enter our doors.
chalice. Good morning. I'm Ben Sostrom. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a white man in my late 30s with blonde hair and glasses. I'm wearing a gray sweater. I grew up in this congregation as a youth along with Carrie, and I am a longtime member of the Millennial Covenant Group.
Ooh, Millennial Covenant Group. Hello, everybody. My name is Jeff Hurst. I have the pleasure of being this one's husband, and my pronouns are he, him. I am a white man in my, oh, thank you, scriptwriter, in my late 30s. I'll take it. With dark hair. I'll take that, too. Wearing glasses and a blue sweater. Again, I am Ben's husband and a fellow theater performer, also an educator in drama education. And I had the privilege of sharing this story with my students earlier this year and thought it would be fun to help tell this story to all of you today. So let's begin. That's you.
Today's story is called The Circles All Around Us, written by Brad Montague and illustrated by Brad and Christy Montague. We begin by drawing a circle on the ground along each shoe.
A safe little place for just one person. Nobody in this circle but you. You keep that circle closed to everyone but yourself, but that would be like a library with just one book on a shelf.
So, let's draw a bigger circle for you and your family to share. Now you see what all can happen in a circle full of care.
It becomes a happier circle as more loved ones come to stay.
And wouldn't it be even better if all your friends could come out and play?
So you stretch and draw your circle even bigger than it's been and let a few more people know that they are welcome to come in.
In the circles all around us, everywhere that we all go, there's a difference we can make and a love we can all show.
Yet, there are still so many outside the circle who are different in all they do. Hello, ciao, bonjour, hola, salut, guten tag, hola, namaste, hi, and buongiorno. Though it feels slightly uncomfortable,
We draw a bigger circle for them too.
it doesn't mean the circle is easy. It can get harder the more we share.
But wonderful things can happen when love is known and felt everywhere.
As time passes, our eyes open. We see others we really care for. And that's when we ask ourselves, well, what's this circle really there for?
So let us create bigger circles all around us for the rest of our days. Let our caring ripple out in a million little ways.
In the circles all around us everywhere that we all go, there's a difference we can make and a love we can all show.
As our circles grow and we watch them wonder-eyed.
Remember, the first circle started with just the love that you hold inside.
Drawing our circles wider while centering love allows us to share with one another in ways that can change the world.
The end. So now please remain seated with our hands over our hearts, acknowledging the love of the circles all around us and those people we hold in care.
and sing Gathered Here, number 389 in the gray hymnal, to sing our beloved children back to their families and to class.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near.
In the month of October, we are sharing our offering plate with Abortion Forward Alliance, formerly Pro-Choice Ohio Foundation. Abortion Forward Alliance envisions a future in which the dignity of every person is honored and stigma-free abortion is accessible without financial or political barriers. Their mission reflects their commitment to the ongoing work to protect reproductive freedom, to expand and to protect abortion access. We hand the megaphone to people who aren't being heard so that they can have real conversations, educate decision makers, and forge connections with people and organizations working to protect bodily autonomy. Abortion Forward Alliance provides political policy analysis of state and local policies concerning reproductive health care for Ohioans, trains and mobilizes advocates, helps Ohioans understand the impact of abortion restrictions, and busts abortion stigma by uplifting abortion storytellers. So you can give by clicking on the QR code on the screen or in your order of service, or by going to our website at firstuucolumbus.org and select Give, or by offering cash or check in our offering baskets. Ushers, please come forward to receive our gifts, and thank you for your generous support of our congregation and of reproductive freedom. The pastoral care listener today is Pat Snyder. Pat, where are you? You want to stand? There she is. Thank you. If you have something on your heart that you would like to share, Pat will be available in Beach Hall to just simply listen to your concerns, or maybe your celebrations. And we do have some celebrations and concerns in our community to share with all of you this morning. We wish a very happy birthday to David McDonald and Marguerite Malk. They share a birthday on October 25th. Marguerite will celebrate her 98th birthday. And Dave will celebrate his 88th birthday. What's a decade between friends? That's great. We send healing thoughts and care to Mary Lou McDonald, who had surgery on Thursday. She'll be at Westerwood for a few days of rehab and then return home. And we share deep sympathy with Sylvia Howe and Paul LaRue. Their daughter-in-law, Dora Young Ford, Ross Ford's wife, died of a long illness on Monday, October 14th. Ross and Dora were married here in 1997, and Reverend Kathleen Fowler officiated at Dora's memorial service on Friday. So let us hold all of these spoken and unspoken concerns and celebrations in our heart as we join in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of life and love, holy mystery, may we hear the voice calling within us to ask what's possible, to walk to the edge, to shed the fear and the need for control, and dance with the infinite for a while. May we set down the list of wrongs and hurts and see obstacles as invitations for innovation, beckoning our creativity. May we hear each other's voices of love and encouragement. May we hear the cries of the world asking us, who do we choose to be? May we be vessels of comfort and of compassion. May we be vessels of hope and healing. May we be vessels of peace and justice. May love prevail. In the name of all that is holy, we pray. As we spend a moment in silence together. Amen. Our reading this morning is from Maria Popova, who does a wonderful blog that you can receive twice a week called Marginalia. And she collects wisdom from many, many, many sources, and I think you'll find it really inspiring, so I encourage you to subscribe to it. She's an author as well. Our culture has created a reward system in which you get points for tearing down rather than building up, and for besieging with criticism and derision those who dare to work from a place of constructive hope. Don't just resist cynicism. Fight it actively in yourself and in those you love, and in the communication within which you shape culture. Cynicism, like all destruction, is easy. It's lazy. There's nothing more difficult yet more gratifying in our society than living with sincere, active, constructive hope for the human spirit. This is the most potent antidote to cynicism, and it is an act of courage and resistance today. So please stay seated to sing our meditative hymn, number 155, in your gray hymnal. The words are also on the screen.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
Good morning again. Thank you, choir. It is such a balm to hear my father's arrangements. You nailed every syncopation. He would have been proud. And thank you to Reverend Teresa, someone who I've known for many years and worked closely with, for this invitation to be here today. As the congregation I not only grew up in, but got married in, had a baby shower in, and watched my dad serve as many years for music director, Tony McDonald, it does always feel like coming home. So I want to start this morning, friends, with a confession. This fall, I finally decided that I'd had enough with Facebook. I was tired of trolls, tired of the addictive taste in my mouth while I'm doom scrolling late at night, and the sheer nonsense I was reading. So I gave myself permission to begin to let go. My account is still there, but I left some very problematic local politics groups, and I've started reading and posting less. And I have to tell you, it is a net improvement in my life. Let me be clear, I am not anti-screen time. I mostly work from home and spend hours on Zoom every day talking to my UUA colleagues who live in 40 different states. And so it's not about the technology, it's about the algorithms. Algorithms are the process behind the scenes that drive what you see, what shows up on your feed, and social media algorithms have a goal: to keep your attention, your eyeballs focused on that screen as long as possible to sell you advertising. And with its 3 billion global users, Facebook has shown that the most lucrative way to do this is to fuel stress and conflict, keeping us in a constant state of low-grade panic so that we cannot turn away. The algorithms are the potent and proprietary heart of social media. It's the notion of creating daily patterns for people, for ourselves, guided by a clear intent. It has incredible power to reshape our consciousness and reshape the world. So what would be the algorithm of this, our living faith tradition? What does Unitarian Universalism teach us to do, to prepare us for each day? As I believe many of you know, this past summer at General Assembly, which is our association's democratic governance body of congregational delegates, we voted to redefine our commitments as Unitarian Universalists. We proclaimed that love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our new shared values. We are accountable to one another to do the work of living those shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. Inseparable from one another, these shared values are justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. For me, as for so many of us, this sense of abiding love at the center is deeply resonant, which of course it would be, because these new values were developed by engaging thousands of Unitarian Universalists on what our commitments are and what our aspirations should be. In our yellow shirts, we've been siding with love in the public square for nearly 15 years, saying it pretty loud. Love has always been at the heart of my understanding of the sacred. Here's what I wrote in my 9th grade credo statement that I authored in Coming of Age, which I shared from this very pulpit. 9th grade me said, "For me, God is love. According to the Gestalt theory, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. When people spend time with one another or with animals, they become greater than they ever could be alone. This additional love and truth which binds us through all, that is how God is seen in my eyes." The love and truth that binds us through all is the face of God. It still holds up. So if we dig into the underlying theology, the logic of our algorithm, we may understand interdependence as less of a value than a truth. It is a fact that we are connected to every being and every part of the galaxy through gravitational forces at the molecular level. Interdependence is not inherently good or bad, it just is. So we are shaped by the people around us through that interdependence, and we shape them in return in a lifelong journey of mutual transformation. This is why it matters who we are in relationship with and how we treat one another. And that mutuality extends across generations. We are shaped by our ancestors as we will shape our descendants yet to come. Here is where the divine can emerge. In the language of process theology, it is the creative interchange, but other theological traditions characterize it differently. Love is the divine affirmation of our mutuality, seeking care and fulfillment for ourselves and for one another. To be loved as you truly are, that is joy. And because humans are imperfect and diverse, we will also inevitably hurt one another. To repair that harm, we must return to the practice of love and invest in one another's joy and material well-being, restoring right relationship. Now, at the other end of the spectrum, systems of oppression, racism, cis-heteropatriarchy, ableism, fascism, these are the exploitation of interdependence for profit. They are an inversion of love and the nature of evil, and this causes the greatest suffering. That's why we as UUs must be and are committed to ending and undoing systematic oppression. It is inimical to our core values. The purpose then of church, of our congregations and our association of congregations, is to practice love and right relationship in our mutuality, to practice being human, in the words of UU theologian James Luther Adams. This is rooted in the Cambridge Platform of 1648 from our Puritan forebears, which, they had some issues, but they got this piece right, okay? Which established that, one, freely entering into covenant is what binds us in religious community. Two, that covenant must be practiced, not merely professed. And three, congregations cooperate to ensure one another's welfare and faithfulness. So our covenant, our explicit commitments to be accountable to one another and our values, this is the tool we use to implement that algorithm. Practice means not just being programmed on autopilot, but building skill and muscle memory so you get stronger and better at what you are doing. Here is some of the spiritual muscle memory that I built growing up in this church around these shared values. Running the congregation's annual pledge drive as a young adult, generosity. Going on picnics after church with the multiracial family group, feeling like our mixed family wasn't the only one and having a space to talk about that, equity. The beauty of the flower communion, showing that each of us has something unique and precious to offer, pluralism. At youth conferences, building my political consciousness about the invasion of Iraq and the military-industrial complex, organizing with my peers to protest and advocate against an unjust war, justice. Going through that coming-of-age program and being treated at age 14 like my experiences and my insights were worthy of being shared and heard. Transformation. As a young adult, I joined a covenant group for small group ministry, which I now understand it still meets today. Good job, gang. We spent hours learning how one another experience the world, interdependence. And in some of the hardest moments of my adolescence, or coming home from a long semester at college, feeling the embrace of this congregation, love. Now, the truth of church and of any community committed to a shared set of values is that it is not all rainbows and unicorns. I, just to speak for myself, have certainly experienced in church intense interpersonal conflicts, death and losses, times I felt ignored, erased, dismissed, situations when I felt we were not living up to our shared commitments and took the easy way out. Shared values are not just for the times when it's easy, friends. They're forged in the fire. That is when the growth happens, the hardest moments of fear and challenge. Courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without it, no other virtue can be practiced consistently. These are words from Maya Angelou she shared with the 2008 graduating class of Cornell University. You can be kind and true and fair and generous and just and even merciful occasionally, Angelou said. But to be that thing time after time, you have to really have courage. I love this quote. I heard it for the first time in 2016 from UU and public intellectual Dr. Melissa Harris Perry at a conference, and it has stuck with me. Courage. It's something that can be chosen or demanded of us. I want to acknowledge this congregation has been through some hard stuff. While my role at the UUA is not to directly support individual congregations, I want you to know I keep tabs on y'all. I am one of many leaders who make sure that you get the support you need from the wider faith at the most critical moments, like the Hope for Us conflict engagement team. When right-wing militias showed up at this congregation to protest Drag Story Hour, it must have been terrifying. It must have taken courage. And you know what I felt when I heard that story? Pride. In a world of rising fascism, you are pissing off the right people. Congratulations. Courage. They say you cannot testify until you've been tested, and friends, I am here to tell you I can testify to the power of this congregation and to Unitarian Universalism today. I'm one of many leaders this congregation has generated and supported in our faith, including Mark Bellatini, Eric Dawson, Deborah Gray Boyd, and many others. I'm grateful for that strength and that practice because, friends, we need it in this world. Right now, UUs are doing incredible ministry to answer that call. Hurricane Helene ripped through North Carolina in late September, the latest 100-year storm caused by the climate crisis, causing catastrophic flooding, nearly washing away entire communities. And I saw UUs spring into action in Asheville and Winston-Salem and Charlotte and Atlanta, helping get supplies to our beloveds who were without water and fuel, and support their local grassroots mutual aid organizations who were helping those most impacted. This was all with support of the UUA's Disaster Relief Fund. The UUA has raised over $150,000 in the last few weeks for this fund, with that money immediately going out the door to our congregations in the path of Helene and Milton, and the need is still growing. This is a beautiful affirmation of interdependence across our faith. At the same General Assembly where we adopted our shared values, we also passed a resolution titled, "Embracing Transgender, Non-Binary, Intersex, and Gender Diverse People is a Fundamental Expression of UU Religious Values." We believe we are the first U.S. denomination to not only condemn discrimination against trans people, but to actually affirm that, and I quote, "The ability to live ever more authentically as one's true self is central to a lifelong journey towards spiritual fulfillment. Our religious tradition is a living one, and today we collectively declare that our covenant inescapably binds us to affirmation and protection of our transgender and intersex members and kindred in faith and in practice." You did that. This statement, it must be said, roots us deeply in ministry that is already happening in this congregation and many others, where I know you support youth and members who are trans and non-binary and gender diverse. Congregations across the country are part of our Pink Havens Coalition, helping people access gender-affirming care across state lines. And personally, as a gender non-binary person myself, this ministry means so much, more than I can say, a powerful testament to the liberation that our faith offers. Regardless of the outcome of the November election, regardless, we must be prepared for things to get much worse. You know this, situated in a red state. UUs will have to be ready to be called on inside and outside our congregation in some very important ways to use our networks and our buildings and our position to help build a flood wall to protect what we hold most dear. So, unlike Facebook, I am not pulling back from Unitarian Universalism. I am tripling down. I'm all in. Church is one of the most powerful technologies in the history of humanity, for good and for evil. Our role is protected in the Constitution, a fact that may become increasingly important. The world needs us in the struggle, needs this congregation, needs each of you. And we need each other to join the fight in global oppression and in the mundane weekly tasks of casseroles and calls and texts. So this is my call to you. Invest in yourselves. Invest in this congregation and in this faith, as our shared values will illuminate our path forward no matter the challenge. Take a deep breath. Drink some water. Believe that we have what we need. We have been building that algorithm of love for generations that drives us forward, shaped by our values. Believe in our covenant and where the ancestors have brought us. It's little decisions every day that make the difference and can prepare us occasionally for some very big ones. Take courage, friends, for the truth of our interconnection means we are never alone. Amen and Ashe. Please rise in body or in spirit to sing hymn 1017. The words are located on the screen and in the teal hymnal. So, you didn't hear me, but we are rising in body and spirit to sing hymn 1017. The words are located on the screen and in the teal hymnal. Thank you.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Please take the hand of someone close to you or push your hand on your heart, whatever feels best to you, as we share in these words from Sam Trumbore. Each moment of wakefulness has so many gifts that offer energy and delight. Even in moments of great danger, the direction of attention is a choice. Great possibilities await us, even if all we can see is a cliff before us. Holding reality and possibility together is the holy, hope-filled work of all of us, if we choose it again and again in love. And now let us extinguish our chalice together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of vision. As we go forth, let us heal and transform ourselves and our world through reason and love.